Hi, how's everybody? Awesome. Okay, so the plan for today is I'll just probably just start sharing my screen now. Perfect. Sorry, just one second, guys. Somebody sent me a message. Perfect. So, all right, we're gonna start the session at 2:05. We're just gonna let couple more people come in just before we get started, just in case they're running late. Students. No. Okay. Hi. Is everybody ready? Okay, perfect. We have a good number of participants now, and yeah, let's get started. So, um, oh, my video on? All right. So today we are gonna do session three. So this is kind of the plan for today. Session overview. So we're going to quickly talk about a cool application of software engineering just to get you guys motivated to learn more and understand like how you guys can kind of use the skills you're learning and keep learning and stay motivated to learn, I guess. And then we're going to do a quick review of scope and the global keyword. And we're going to do an introduction to Booleans and if and else statements and relational logical operators. So actually, before we go any further, if you guys go to your top hat, if you guys open up your top hat, you'll see that there's three different questions assigned. Um, guys, questions for the top hat. Okay, looks like two of you guys have already answered. It looks like session. Wait. Okay, I am not sure. Okay, so we're just gonna. Oh, you're not saying what is the top hat code? Okay. Mac, do you mind giving the top hat code? There's nothing assigned. Okay. There are no questions. Okay. This top hat thing's pretty confusing. Here, let me just present. Uh, okay. When will the leaderboard be updated? I did not get into top hat. Yeah, just I think it's assigned for homework. So you guys can just sign in and do it. Is anyone able to see the top hat questions? No, okay. Okay, we'll just figure out the top hat thing later. It's been pretty messy, so we'll just sort that thing out later. They just asked me to do it. So, um, there, you guys have the join code now. Um, but yeah, the top hat thing is a bit messy. We're gonna sort that one out later, and we're gonna figure that part out. But okay, let's get started with the session overview. So, a cool application of software engineering. So autonomous vehicles can sense their environments. I know you guys obviously have heard of autonomous vehicles a lot. It's starting to become very popular with Tesla and stuff like that. They rely on a bunch of sensors, actuators, processors, algorithms, and machine learning, um, which like and a ton of computer science, although it doesn't really look like it and it really runs in the background. Those are critical to autonomous vehicles and AI. Not really AI, I'd say. I don't think autonomous vehicles run on AI that much, but um, the sensors and the radar sensors monitor the position of nearby vehicles. The video cameras detect traffic lights, signs, and pedestrians. They use LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging sensors, to measure distances and identify the lanes so they can stay in lanes. And they also use ultrasonic sensors. Ultrasonic sensors in the wheels to detect curbs and stuff like that. Machine learning systems is an AI. Yeah, for sure. I think there's some implementations of AI, but yeah, I think it's a lot of sensors and stuff like that. But true, there's definitely a lot of machine learning everywhere now these days. Okay. Um, so you guys can kind of use your guys' skills later to maybe contribute to things like this in the future. And you definitely want to learn if you guys want to learn more, you guys can learn more about autonomous vehicles online. And then kind of do more research into it. And it's something that's pretty interesting. So you guys could learn more about that. So as I said, I would review scope. So a bit of scope review. This can be really quick. Variables are created inside of a function, such as setup or draw, don't exist outside of the functions, and variables outside of all functions are global variables. Using them inside of a function requires the global keyword. So this is just a quick review of scope. Create X as a global variable right at the top, and then you are able to gives us ASCII. If you use the global keyword inside of the draw function, it gives you access to the X variable. And then you can manipulate the value of X and it would update the global X value. So actually what I'm gonna do here is quickly go over an example with trinkets, sorry. This is a quick example with trinkets about the global variable. So if we click run, as you guys can see, this is a function right here. This is a local variable. So if I do, and then this prints out the value of X. So here, when I call this function, I think we already covered functions before. So when you call this function, like for example, the draw function or the run function or the setup function that you guys use in the trinket. This is very similar to that. So when we call the function, what happens is this function inside of here runs. So let's say I use the X variable inside of the function, but if I want to print out the X variable outside of the function, then it would actually raise an error because it is local to the inside of the function. Another example, right here, we're going to go over this one really quickly too. Here we've assigned a global variable y. So this y is not defined inside of a function like the last example. It's defined outside of the function. So it becomes a global variable that's like is able to be used by all the functions inside of this program. So here, if we go inside of the function, we can actually print out y. And if we go outside of the function, we can actually print out y. So that's kind of how that works. So now you're probably wondering, hey, what's the point of using this global keyword, right? So this is kind of the point of this piece of code will kind of show you what that is able to do. So here we assign this global z like global variable here, like as we did here. And then if let's say we want to modify the global variable, like, so we want to turn z into 40. Let's say we want to do that. Here, if we click run, so you guys can kind of see the output of the code. Here we see inside of the function, the z value is 40, and outside of the function, the z value is 40. So if we don't have this global keyword inside, what will happen is inside of the function, the global, like the value of z is 40, right? Because we've changed it to 40 inside the function, but it doesn't impact the variable outside of the function. So it's only 40 inside of this function because we didn't use the global keyword. There are no multi-line comments. Yeah, there are no multi-line comments, but what you can do actually, it's a quick trick. If you're on Mac, I don't know how it works on Windows to tell you the truth. But if you're Mac, if you highlight anything, you can just click slash backslash, and it will comment like you can click command uh sorry uh command backslash like this one, and then it will comment out any code that you guys highlight. But yeah, and I think there might be multi-line comments actually. I'm not sure. I've never used them too much because I use the command backslash trick, so it kind of helps a lot more. But yeah, control backslash. Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how we modify the global, and the point of the global variable is really to modify like variables that are outside of functions and stuff like that. I hope everyone kind of understood that. And it kind of helped to clear some things up if there was any confusion from the last lesson. Okay, so let's go back to our slides over there. Okay, perfect. So today we're also going to be talking about Booleans and comparisons. I know in the like when we were walking in, somebody was talking about arrays. We're just kind of getting started. So this was like a very introductory level class. So we probably like maybe next class I think is arrays. I'm not 100% sure, but we're just going to start at very basic levels for sure. So Booleans and comparisons. So what is kind of a Boolean? A Boolean is a value that's either true or false. Booleans are useful in assessing logical statements. For example, if a given condition is true, and making a comparison between two different values using the comparison operators that we will talk about later. For example, let's say in our code, you'd like to set a variable to true, a Boolean variable to true. So in high school, if we set it to true with one equal sign, that's really important. You guys should use only one equal sign. If we want to set it to true, you just use the variable name equal sign and set it to true. And then you can also set it to false in a very similar way. And just make sure to capitalize the first letter of the Boolean value. And the comparison operators, like I was talking about before. So the if you guys have taken any basic level math classes in probably junior high or elementary, they probably talked about these comparison operators. So let's say that this one is called the less than operator. So let's say there's an x on the right-hand side of this operator and a y on the left-hand side of this operator. What would this would check is x is less than y. If x is less than y, then it would return a Boolean value. So let's say we'll go over some examples later on, so this becomes more clear if you guys are kind of struggling to understand it right now. But that is how the operator works. So this is the less than operator. This is the less than or equal to. This is the greater than operator, the greater than or equal to operator, and the equal to operator. Okay, no problem. Equal to operator, and that's the not equal to operator. Operators that compare values, the result is either true or false. So when you use a comparison operator, you'll either always get a true or false value, so a Boolean value. So the equal sign is used for compare the two equal sign is used for comparing values, and the one equal sign is used for assigning values. I think one of the major errors that I had in my coding is I always used to get these two mixed up. Like sometimes I used to think I was comparing two values and I always ended up only using one equal sign. So it's a very common mistake. But yeah, when you guys run it, if you guys run into issues, just make sure to be checking that you guys are using the right number of equal signs. So comparison operator examples. So let's try printing the results of some comparisons to see what Boolean value they resolve to. So here, let's say we want to print 1 is less than 4. Inside of this would return printout true because 1 is less than 4, since this is the less than operator. So 1 is less than 4. Think about it as like a sentence. And then that's true, right? Like everyone knows that's true. So that's kind of how you can think about it. So here, what we first do is we set the value of a variable a to -5. So now, if we want to print out greater than or equal to operator, um, the greater than or equal to operator is equal to 0, this would return to 0. Actually, I'm going to try this one with you guys. So I want to see, like, in the chat, I want to see at least 3 people say what they think the answer of this one's going to be.
So which one?
For the one on the very left, actually it's right there. The true value is right there. But yeah, it's going to be true. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, so this one's going to be true because 0 is not equal to 57. So wait, sorry. Uh 0 is not equal to 57. Yeah, so that statement is true. So it's going to be true. Okay, perfect. So combining conditions. The statement, programming is fun and programming is useful, is true because programming is fun and it's useful. So we're talking about kind of how the and word is used here. So when you have the word and, it means that both sides are correct. So if two things are true, then it's true. And then, for example, if you were to use the word and again, the Halloween has candy and Halloween has Easter eggs. That's false because Halloween does have candy, but it does not have Easter eggs. So that's why this statement is false. I hope you guys are catching on to this. But the statement Halloween has candy or Halloween has Easter eggs is true because Halloween has candy. It doesn't really matter if the second statement, because we're using the or keyword right here. So or could mean either the first one or the second one, right? So since the first one is true, we return true. And you're probably wondering why this is important, but it's gonna make sense shortly here. So there's 3 different keywords that you can kind of use with the Boolean values. So and, or not, right? So and basically returns true if both sides of the and statement on the right and the left are both true, then it would exclusive nor. So exclusive or is there's only one statement in that or statement that can be true. I'm not sure if we covered in this one, but that's what exclusive or is. Or exclusive nor. It depends on, I think it's XOR. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that exclusive or is basically where one statement is true, only one statement is true. So let's say 2 or statements are true, like let's say you have a line of 3 and 2 of them are true, then it return false. That's what exclusive or works. Okay. So back to the different logical operators. Okay, so this one's and, so both sides here are true. X nor. Okay, yeah. So 5/3 is true. 5 is greater than 3 is true, and 6 is greater than 3 is true. So we return true. And here, 5 is greater than 3 is true, and 6 is less than 3 is 6 is less than 3 is actually false. So since both statements here, one side is true and one side is false, we actually return false because um because one side is false. Okay. How the or keyword works. So here, true if any of the Boolean statements are true. So let's say 5 is greater than 3, like the same statement that we had above with the 5 greater than 3 on the right, and the 6 is less than 3 on the left, which we've already established is false, would return true just because the 5/3 is 5/3 is true. And then here, if we say 5 is less than 3 and 6 is less than 3, then we're going to return false because both of them are false. And the not keyword, like whatever the statement is, it return the opposite of that. So not 6 is greater than 3. 6 is less than 3. We know is false. So the not 6 is less than 3 would return true. It'll kind of make a lot more sense as you guys utilize it. That's kind of how programming really works. So there's something called truth tables, which kind of really goes over like the like how to use not or and. Um, so oh, actually, I now remember what exclusive OR is. There's this I don't know if you're gonna planning on studying computer science later on, but if you end up taking this class called philosophy, it's necessary for computer science, logical programming, logical thought, or something. They actually use the XOR keyword. That's why I was confused about that. But um, yeah, okay, not A B. XOR is not A B. And or A and not B. Yeah, that's exactly what XOR is. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Anyway, back to the truth tables. So here, not true, as we've established, would return false, not false would return true. And then same thing goes with OR values. OR values would return true if any one of them are true, any one of the sides are true, and would only return false if both sides are false. And the and values would only return true if both of them are true. If any of them are false, it would return false. I think we've already established that. So that's a simple way to kind of think about it. If statements. Use if statements to run code based on some condition. So this is kind of a diagram right here, a kind of flow chart that kind of explains how if statements work. So when you use the if statement, if it's true, then it will run the code inside of the body. And if it's false, it will run the code after the body. And if it's true, it will run the code inside the body and run the code after outside the body. So that is kind of how if statements work. For example, if your house is cold, then your thermostat turns on your furnace. So if house temp is less than 20 and the furnace is on, is equal to true, then uh, uh then that means like your furnace would be turned on, right? So like let's say your house gets too cold, then your furnace would turn on. And if your house gets too warm, which means greater than 25, your furnace would turn off. So that's kind of how if statements work. Like you guys can it would run the code inside of the that's indented one to the right. So inside the if statement. So the code furnace on is actually inside the if statement here. For if statements, you have to indent the line or everything inside the if statement is indented by one tab to the right. Okay. This will make more sense when you guys code it up. And make sure not to forget the colons at the end of your if statements. This kind of says like what you guys want below your like inside of your if statement. This kind of helps to identify what's inside of your if statement. So the disappearing ball. So here, what happens is this piece of code keeps track, makes kind of a line on your on your screen, and then if the mouse passes the if the X value passes the is less than the 250 range, then what would happen is the mouse would actually turn into a red ball, and then it would be a circle, I think. Okay. If else statement. Okay, so let's talk about the if else statement. The way the if else statement works is very similar to the if statement. So it's kind of if a condition is true, then it'll do the thing that's inside the if statement. And if that statement does not run, then it will run the else statement. So as you guys can see here, if a if statement's true, it'll run the code inside of the body and then run the code after the statement. And if it's false, it'll run the code else state body and run the code after the else statement. So here we kind of have an example. If I'm driving, send calls to the voicemail, else send calls to the phone. So that means like if I'm driving, like we get to the if statement, then it will send them the calls to voicemail, which is the code inside the body. And let's say I'm not driving, which means that that statement is false. Then it'll send the calls to the phone, which is inside of the else body. Code inside of the if statement is executed only if the condition is true. Um, Code inside of the else statement is executed only if the condition is false. Any code before or after if statements is executed normally. Okay. One sec. I think I'm gonna run this example with you guys actually, so it makes more sense. Let's see if I can do it. Um, Sorry, just one second, guys. Okay, so let's actually go back to the disappearing ball example. So look at how all of this kind of combines together. We okay. If the mouse X is past 250, then fill it with red instead. So you guys can't really see the GIF on the screen here because this one's a PowerPoint. Sorry, PDF. I'm just gonna bring that one in. So this is kind of what happens when like when you guys take it to the opposite side, it kind of disappears. So that's kind of what happens there. And then, sorry, I'm just trying to scroll down. And this is the mirrored ball approach. So what happens here is, let's say your mouse goes to the opposite side, it would this piece of code would kind of show the ball would move accordingly to the mouse being on the opposite side of the line. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's how the mirrored ball kind of works here. So this creates a line in the middle that you guys see, line right here. And if the mouse is less than 250, then we're going to fill it with red, and it's going to be move the X and Y values accordingly to the X and Y values of the mouse. And let's say it goes past this line over here, then it would be actually moving to the opposite of mouse X and mouse Y. So it would reflect on the opposite side. It'll make more sense when you guys code it up, or they'll run these examples inside the mentor sessions, hopefully. Okay, so this is where we're probably gonna split into our breakout rooms. I think. Oh no, this is a quick question number one. I don't know. I don't think the top hat is working yet. I don't not think the top hat's working. Let me just give it another shot and see if I can get it to work. Um, yeah. Okay, yeah, the top hat's not working for me today. Um, Actually, it looks like it is. If you guys join the top hat, does it now say like I'll actually drag this in?
I also just assigned question one, quick question one. So maybe try doing that. Also, Mahfouz, you're on the Saturday or the Wednesday session. Like if you look at the join code, you'll have to go to courses and switch to the Saturday session.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
But I did assign the question, so if you guys can see it, please let me know.
You guys should be able to see then. So this is kind of the question over here. Uh, okay.
Sorry, how do I go to my breakout room? I don't.
Sorry, what was the question?
How do I go to my breakout room, please?
The breakout rooms aren't open yet. This is just a quick question on Top Hat. For the breakout rooms,
Okay,
we'll let you know.
okay. Thank you. So,
Okay. So let's discuss you guys' answers. So it looks like most of you guys says the background blue, um, the background blue and the ball yellow. And that is actually the correct answer. So that is good that a lot of you guys kind of understood that. So that's pretty nice. Okay. So it looks like people are still answering. Okay. I did not know that the question was still open. Anyway, so yeah, so anyway, you guys are probably wondering why that is the answer. So why is the background blue and the ball yellow? So here, um, uh, as you guys can see, uh, here the background is blue, because the um, uh, well, yellow. Okay. Here you guys can kind of see the mouse is at x at 100. So mouse x is not greater than 250. So this one would not run. This background here, red, would not run. It would run the else statement. So the background blue would actually run. And then it would also set the fill to be yellow, right? But immediately after, the code runs that the fill is set to green initially, but then the code keeps running since this one is outside of the if and else statements, that it would set it to yellow. So yeah, that is why the background is blue and the fill is set to yellow. So yeah, that's why that's the answer. Okay. Hopefully that was okay. Okay. So let's break into our breakout rooms and you guys will be working on this exercise question. So the goal is to draw a circle in the top left-hand corner of the window and make the circle move horizontally to the right until it disappears and make the circle reappear back at the left side of the screen. So it would just keep moving like that. I will show you guys a quick example of what that kinda is gonna look like. Here the GIFs don't work on my computer, but this is what the goal is to make it look like. So the ball would be moving slowly all the way to the right, and then disappear. So if it is possible, we're gonna be opening up our breakout rooms right now. Okay. Um, okay, perfect. I think the breakout rooms are open.
Yes, the breakout rooms are open now. Another thing is if you are in Janet's group, she is not here today, so you have been temporarily put with another mentor. But if you have any questions for Janet, you can contact her on Discord. For the people who are still in the main session, all of you should have gotten a message to join another group.
I don't see the option to join breakout room on my end.
Um, the option should be right there. If you don't see it, if you go to the bottom, you should see an icon that says breakout rooms, or if you don't see that, go to more, and that's when you should see the option for breakout rooms.
Well, today's it isn't. Before it's show, and I go to
Um,
more, there's still nothing.
Okay, can you tell me what your name is, and I'll try to send you the message again, because I don't, since it only says A, I'm not sure what group you're in.
I'm supposed to be in group 3.
Group 3? Okay, give
Yeah.
me a minute.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, Janet isn't here, so I'll be putting you in a different group right now.
Okay.
I'll be putting you in group 11.
Okay. Thank you.
And you should see a message now. As well as the last mentee left in main session. Is that the name you registered with? I couldn't find you on the attendance sheet. But if you know what group you're in, I can put you in that room. Oh, can you hear me?
Me,
I,
yes.
no, not you, sorry, the mentee. Um, if you tell me what group number you're in, I can assign you to that group. We'll keep the breakout session open till 1. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty fair. This one's a hard one.
Yeah, okay.
Also, like it's just me and you in this chat right now, right?
Yes, but the session is being recorded and it will be posted online.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so it looks like everyone came back from their breakout rooms. So we'll get back started with the lesson. Okay, so let's talk about the example that we had. So the teleporting ball. So you draw a circle at the top left-hand corner of the window, make the circle move horizontally to the right until it disappears, and make the circle reappear back at the left side of the screen. So how would you guys kind of do that? I'm pretty sure you guys talked about this in your um in your breakout rooms, but this is kind of the solution. Sorry, can everyone hear me? And is everything okay? Okay, that's good. Awesome. Perfect. All right, so everyone can see my screen. So from processing, we're obviously going to start by importing the processing package. Set the radius to 20. This is all pretty basic stuff that you guys have done multiple times before, setting the screen. And then you'd make a global X and a global X and radius value. So why you're doing this, making this a global value is because you're updating them inside of you're updating the X value inside of this function in this inside of this if statement right here. So then you're basically gonna continue to keep running this draw function, and it would add 3 to the X value each time it runs. And if the value of X is less than if the value of X, so let's say the value of X is the width of this thing is uh if the value of X is greater than or equal to the width statement, then the value of X would be set again back to the radius value of 20. So then it would restart back from the beginning. So that's kind of how that works. Okay. Okay, perfect. And then now let's move on to the next part. Pretty sure. So the if, else if, and else statements. So here I'm actually going to use a trinket example of how the if, else if, and else statements work. So here we have a piece of simple code. Here what we've done is we've set the age to 20. So let's say if the age is greater than 18, so it goes through every single one of these statements one by one. Don't think too much about this statement right now. But yeah, they'll run through each of these statements one by one. So age is equal to 20. If so, in this case, 20 is not less than 18. So this is not true. Then what will happen is the else if statement will run. So then if age is greater than 20, so this one is true. Age is greater than 20, and the age is less than 25. So both of these statements right here are actually true, which means it's going to print out you're an adult. And in a if, else if, and else statement, what happens is only one of these runs. So if this one runs, then the second one doesn't. If the second one runs, then the third one doesn't. So in this case, since this one returned true, then the else statement will not run. And let's say we change the age to 100 and we click run. What will happen is we're going to print out you are really old because this one returned false because 100 is not less than 18. 100 is greater than 18, but when it comes here, as you know, for AND statements, both sides have to be true. So this one returns true, but this one returns false. So it's going to print out, it goes to the next one, which is the else statement, and it's going to print out you are really old. So now let's say we want to just as an example, what we're going to do is we're going to change this and to an or statement. So if you guys remember, Actually, I'm gonna let you guys guess this right here. So can someone tell me sorry. If someone can tell me quickly in the chat, what happens, like what's it called? What's gonna be the output of this code right here? You guys have like maybe 30 seconds. Since I changed this from an and to an or. Any responses? You are an adult. Okay, let's run it and find out. Perfect. Yeah, it's gonna print out you're an adult because now both of these are true. So it's only gonna run what's inside of here. And another thing you guys want to mention, every if statement, let's say you start a thing with if, right? So let's say I make this -5. Perfect. Thank you guys all for your responses. I really appreciate that. And it shows me that you guys are listening and it really helps to motivate me. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna click run. What happens is if statements, all if statements are gonna run. So this one, we check this one, and this one returns true because obviously age is less than 0, right? But then what happens is this one also returns true because all if statements run like so it runs both of these and it goes through each of them. Even though this one returned true, this one will also be checked. And since this one returned true, none of these ones are checked later on. Okay. So that kind of helps you guys kind of understand the if, else, and if, else, if, and else statements. Then there's like a kind of a picture here that kind of explains how it kind of works. So like I mentioned, it runs through, it starts by starting with the if statement, then it goes to the else if statement, and then it goes to the else statement down here. So, and also you can use multiple else if statement blocks in the same if statement. Perfect. So combining logical operators. So do you like green eggs and ham? Like green eggs is set to false, like ham is set to false. If you don't like green eggs, so that means if not like green eggs, which means that this statement right here would be equal to true, and this statement right here would be equal to true, which means this statement would actually print out because I don't like green eggs and ham, and I don't like them. Sam, I am. Okay. I don't know, that's a weird statement, but yeah, both of these print statements would get printed out because it's indented and it uses a semicolon. And kind of bringing it together. So this example, in this example right here, if mouse X is greater than 250 and mouse Y is greater than 250, then make which, as you know, the window is split up into blocks. So make it green. And else make it blue. So let's say I move this mouse anywhere else, then it would turn into blue. This is actually a GIF. It's not presented on my presentation properly. But I'll quickly show you guys what it would look like really quick, just so it kind of helps. So here's what it would look like. So the mouse moves into blue, then turns blue, and then if it moves back into the green, it would turn green. Okay. Um, Perfect. So, we're actually gonna do another top hat question right now. Um, if you guys go to your top hat, you guys will see this question. I think Mehak is gonna start it for me. So, because I was having some difficulties with the top hat. So Mehak, let us know when the question is open, and then yep, the question is up. Perfect. So you guys can take your time to answer it, and then we'll review your answers in a couple, maybe 2 minutes. I'll give you guys a minute to answer it, it looks like. Okay, we're getting responses coming in. Okay. Um, let's get started with reviewing the answers a little bit here. Is that okay? Is the question closed now?
Yeah, so the question is closed now, and the mentee should be able to see the correct.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna, oh, sorry, I have to. So based on your guys' responses, so what color is the circle when the mouse is X 150 and mouse Y is 50? The correct answer is actually green, I think. Yeah, green. So most of you guys seems like you guys got it wrong. So maybe that there was a confusion in your understanding. Okay. So let's kind of discuss it and go over why it's actually green. Okay, let's start. So what color is the circle? So mouse X is 150, mouse Y is 50. So here, let's go through here. Um, the mouse X is greater than 100. That is true. And the mouse Y is greater than 100. That is false. So it's not red. Here, the mouse X, then we run to the next else if statement. The mouse X is less than 100, or the mouse Y is greater than less than 100. Here, um, the mouse Y is less than 100. So this one actually is true. And since this is an or statement, maybe you guys got confused with uh, the or maybe you guys got confused with the or and the and you guys thought the second one was also and. Maybe that was where the mistake was. But so this one would actually run. So it would be turn the mouse green. And since this one ran, this else if statement ran, this else statement would not run. So yeah, that is why the answer is green. Does everyone kind of understand that, or is there a bit of confusion? Yeah, or yes, perfect. Yeah, it's the or thing. Okay, awesome. All right, we're probably gonna be short on time, so I'm gonna move a bit fast, okay? So okay, awesome. So here's the next exercise. If you guys don't mind Mihak starting the breakout rooms, and then you guys can work on this exercise um in your breakout rooms. But we won't give too much time this time. Okay. how long are we gonna be keeping this breakout room open for?
I think we'll do like 4 minutes maybe, so I'll close the rooms at 18.
Okay, awesome. Uh, okay. It looks like we got everyone back. So I'm just gonna start back again with the lesson. So I'm not sure if you guys had enough time to discuss the answer. I'll go over it really quickly, since we're a bit short on time. So obviously, same thing as before, we're gonna import the processing package. That's important. I remember one time I forgot that. Set up, draw and set up the background. So draw, set up the background, and then put in like four different lines that kind of go vertically and horizontally. And then here, what we're doing here is we're constantly, so the draw function is a constant loop, so it keeps running. So it always keeps checking, hey, is the mouse X less than 250? And if the mouse Y is less than 250. So it starts by going through this one. If this one is false, so this one would give us, sorry. So this one, if it's less than 250, then it gives us red. And let's say it's greater than 250, but the mouse Y is still less than 250, then it gives us green. And then let's say the mouse X is less than 250, and the mouse Y is greater than 250, then it will give us yellow, and then the else statement is it'll give us blue. So that's kind of how that works. I hope that kind of helped to explain what this kind of piece of code does. It's very simple. So if any one of them are true, then it would do that, or it would run the else statement. Okay. Let's proceed with the lecture slides. Okay, so checking for mouse clicks. Okay, the variable mouse pressed has a value of true or false, so it comes with a Boolean value. You are clicking down on either mouse button. False, you aren't clicking down on either mouse button. Useful if combined with any if statements. So if mouse pressed, then it will turn red, and if the mouse is not pressed, then it will just fill with white. Let me just double check. Here, I'm gonna drag in the GIF. I think it's a GIF. One second. There we go. Okay, you guys should be able to see it now. So here, if the mouse is pressed, then it will turn red, and if the mouse is not pressed, then it will be white. Okay. Um, Okay, awesome. So that is, so just a reminder, to be eligible for the certificate, your successful completion of Schulich Ignite, you must attend 6 of the 8 sessions, and this does not include session 0. So if you guys are interested in that, those certificates, we got chats. Somebody asked a question. Yeah, you can do a lot with code for sure. Okay. So if you guys have any questions about your submissions, it may take some time for you guys to see the points and stuff like that. Yeah, so you guys can if you guys have any questions such as like you guys submitted your exercise over 2 weeks ago, or like you guys can't see the total points, or why did I receive a certain number of points, just ask your mentor and they can check your submission and help. So this is the exercises for bug busters. Hold up. The GIFs don't work on my thing. Sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna show you guys the exercises real quick. Okay, so these are the exercises. This first one is very similar to what we did, but it's much slower. And then also it, rather than starting back at the front, it just kind of goes the opposite direction. So it's a bit of a reverse of that. So and then the second one is like if mouse is pressed, then it would the string would follow the line would follow like a certain point, and the circle would follow the mouse. For the exercises for Pythonic Lava, these are also very similar. And if you guys are interested, you guys could do these just for fun. This is kind of like a simple game using the tools. And then just a bit important right here. I'm probably gonna switch back to these slides because they're better. For the Warriors, you have to attend 6 out of the 8 sessions. For the champions, you have to attend 6 out of the 8 sessions and complete 6 out of the 8 assignments. And for legends, you have to attend 6 out of the 8 sessions, complete 6 out of the 8 assignments, and finish the final project, and attend the year end of year gala. So that's pretty exciting.
Just to be clear, these certificates are basically a tiered format. This is the first year we're trying it out. So like Warriors is the bare minimum. So these are like 3 levels. We didn't want to call them gold, silver, bronze because everybody has different time commitments. So everyone will get a certificate if they attended 6 out of 8 sessions, but you can just level up your certificate by doing the assignments or attending the gala and finishing the project. As for your Ignite points, on the Schulich Ignite website, you should be able to see an Excel sheet that has all the leaderboards. We don't have many updates on the Ignite points as of yet, but we will be updating them soon.
The certificate. So let's say it kind of shows that you did something, like you're part of a commitment. Let's say you guys want to apply to like later on, it's kind of just shows that you've learned something from here and you guys have commitments and stuff like that. Um, does assignments include weekly challenges? I believe they do. I could be wrong. Meg, do you mind answering?
No, the assignments do not include weekly challenges, but you can get extra Ignite points with weekly challenges and you can end up getting a prize. So like the highest Ignite points get prizes at the end of the term.
As I believe most of you guys are in high school, correct? Is that accurate or no? Okay, perfect. You guys should definitely like if you guys after you guys get the certification, if you guys are in grade 10 or grade 11, there's a couple apprenticeship programs that you guys can join through your high school. You guys can talk to them about it. But if you guys can get actually internships in high school as well, through different programs like the registered apprenticeship program, but grade 7, dang, you guys are early to this. That's good. That's honestly good. I didn't start programming until I graduated. So it was pretty late to the party. But honestly, I know that there's a lot of opportunities for high school students and also like very young students to get work opportunities at a very young age. So just make sure to take advantage of them because you guys can take advantage of them when you guys get older. But yeah, you guys can use this certificate to show that like it's connected to the University of Calgary. So when you guys present the certificate at like a job interview, or you guys can put that it was completed through like Ignite. It's like a university club. So you guys it shows that you guys actually participated and had commitment and like we're here. Um and then I also wanted to like just say, yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities in computer science. I know that maybe that some people, the job market, some people might say it's not as good, but I think it's really recovered and there's definitely a lot of opportunities for students right now. So I definitely take advantage of any opportunity.
Although we are at the end of the session time, we'll just do one end of session question. So this is like we did last time. If it's just about the pacing of the session, I'm gonna open the question now. So if you guys could just go to your top hats and answer that, that would be great. But aside from that, this is the end of session, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.